Superlek stops Jonathan Haggerty within 49 seconds of round 1. Now in this video we're going to be taking a look at the fight, seeing what vulnerabilities Superlek exposed in Haggerty's game, and what's next for Jonathan Haggerty. Bear in mind he's still the kickboxing champion, he's considered MMA, he has spoken about it before, and I'm sure he'll want to climb that ladder again to get to the top of the Muay Thai tree. But first we have to look at the fight. It did only last 49 seconds, and I have actually seen some people saying this was a lucky elbow by Superlek. This is crazy talk to me, and there's a few reasons for this. Not only did Yoka put out this amazing video of Superlek training this exact elbow, a duck under and a right elbow over the top. If you needed any more evidence than that, just take a look at what happened in the fight beforehand. Superlek tried to go for the exact same elbow and he was just out of reach on this one. So luck didn't play any part of it. However, Haggerty did contribute to his own downfall by blitzing in, and he, as the commentator said, he actually aided Superlek with the power that was unleashed in this elbow. Haggerty's been knocking people down, knocking people out for his last few fights, so it's only natural that he will become more reliant on his power, believing that if he really put it on Superlek early, he'd be able to stop him, which is crazy considering that Superlek's never been stopped before. I think it was only with a cut previously. But Haggerty truly believed that he could do this to Superlek. He'd been in Denver for weeks beforehand, Superlek only just turned up. I truly believe that Haggerty thought that he could put a pace on Superlek and get him out of there. And I'm sure he could have done against 99.9% of fighters in the world. However, when you're dealing with an elite operator like Superlek, you need to be so precise with your shot selection. If you watched my fight breakdown before the fight, I did say that elbows would play a massive part and that shot selection was so key. If you go in and miss, Superlek will make you pay. And that's exactly what happened here. I'm not trying to toot my own horn too much, but I did lead the video by saying that elbows could be a major path to victory in this fight. Okay, I maybe understated it a little bit, but the point still stands. So I think moving forward, Haggerty will need to be less reliant on his power and go back to more of the fighter that beat Sam A, using the teep a bit more, using his reach a bit more, rather than trying to close the distance and unleash shots against fighters who are so good at picking the exact moment to get a counter strike off. Other than that, I want to give full credit to Jonathan Haggerty. He did put out a video, or One Championship did put out a video immediately after the fight. Haggerty talks about daring to be great, and this is so true. I've seen Haggerty getting some hate comments online about maybe being a bit cocky or arrogant towards Superlek in the build-up, but it's the fight game. That's to be expected. It might not be the most natural thing in Muay Thai, but we need fighters to build up fights in Muay Thai to grow the sport. It might be an unfortunate truth, but it's just the way it is. Haggerty has lost, of course, before. He lost twice against Rodtang. Now, these losses could be put down to a bit more naivety. Rodtang, a much more seasoned fighter at the time. So maybe this loss will affect Haggerty more. He'll feel more of a need to go away and rebuild rather than go away and just improve his game. But I think that's what we're going to get already. I've seen Haggerty on Instagram already putting posts out that he's back training. He probably has identified things that he needs to work on and change up in his game before he goes back to Muay Thai. So that leads us nicely into discussing what's next for Jonathan Haggerty. Bear in mind he's still the kickboxing world champion in one, and there's so many amazing fights out there for him. Obviously he's not vulnerable to elbows in kickboxing, so maybe that style suits him more. 4-ounce gloves is an ultimate equaliser in Muay Thai. It divides a lot of opinion whether it's true Muay Thai or not. But if Haggerty doesn't change his style so much, maybe kickboxing will suit him more. Look, we saw him take damage in his last kickboxing fight, but ultimately he came through. He is so tough, he's so effective, generally his shot selection is so nice. But coming back again, when it comes against elite opposition, he maybe needs to change that style up a bit. Haggerty has also spoken about MMA, and I for one would absolutely love to see this. I love it when strikers go across, learn a bit of grappling as well, and really mix up the martial arts to an elite level. Now, currently with Haggerty's style, where he does blitz in, or he does stand tall and gets off the teep, we know that this is vulnerable to takedowns. But he trains in London, he trains at an MMA gym with Team Underground. They've got London shoot fighters nearby. There's loads of amazing MMA gyms there and in Thailand where he trains a lot of the time. So I've got no doubt that his grappling will be good. I do get the impression that he has been doing some grappling underground, keeping it off social media, just because he probably does want people to underestimate his grappling ability. Look, I'm not expecting him to be world champion jiu-jitsu level, but I think if he really works on his takedown defense, like we've seen Israel Adesanya do in the UFC, then he could be a force to be reckoned with in MMA. I'd love to see it. Let me know if you'd like to see it too. Now, the other thing to consider is the rematch with Superlek. This is really hard to justify based on a first round knockout so early on as well, 50 seconds in. I'm sure Haggerty would love the rematch. I'm sure he'd take it now. But I think for the longevity of his career, he's best climbing the ladder again. There's no warm-up fights in one championship, but taking a couple of fights that aren't quite the level of Superlek. I think we are going to see Nico Carrillo and Superlek next. It seems as though that fight's almost done, almost signed, and that'll be an incredible fight. Nico has the sharpness, the power to give anyone problems. And I think after seeing this fight between Superlek and Haggerty, Nico might even adjust his game plan. He might realise that, look, if I go blitzing in the same way, if I'm super aggressive, I could get picked off, I could get caught with something. So this fight in the long run could benefit Nico Carrillo as well. But I'd definitely rather see Haggerty taking a longer way back to the top in Muay Thai especially. I think ultimately he will go for the three sports, MMA, kickboxing and Muay Thai, just because he is such a skilled athlete. But with Muay Thai, I definitely wouldn't be pushing for that rematch straight away, and I don't think he'd get it anyway. Overall, it was an incredible night of Muay Thai in the States. Liam Harrison retiring. I think we need to give him an honourable mention. What a legend of the game. I loved what he said before the fight, that he's just in it for the fans now. Look, he's not expecting to get title shots. These young, hungry lions who are coming into their prime, he admits himself that he can't compete with them. But he wants to put on the shows for the fans, really go out with a bang, and he's retired from 4-ounce gloves, but we will be seeing him in the UK next year, back in the 8-ounce gloves, which will definitely suit his style more, it'll suit his age more as well, and hopefully we get a couple of exciting finishes from Liam Harrison before he finally decides to hang up the gloves. So whilst we show our appreciation to Liam Harrison, let's also appreciate Jonathan Haggerty. Like he said, he's dared to be great, he's never turned down a big fight. He fought Superlek previously 7 years ago. I think he'd had about 10 fights at that time. So Haggerty's an absolute beast. Look, it wasn't his night. He got caught. There's definitely stuff that he needs to work on, which I'm sure he's admitted himself. He put out an Instagram post straight after the fight saying how disappointed he was. But I do not believe by any stretch this is the last time we see Haggerty in a Muay Thai title fight. The Haggerty against Carrillo fight is still huge. I think all over the world, not just in the UK, so we'll definitely see Haggerty back. I hope you've enjoyed this video taking a look at Haggerty's options. If you've not subscribed already, make sure you do. Drop a like on the video and let me know what route you want to see Haggerty taking next.